Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Live Stories. As you know, I'm reading live stories every day on my stream, but I know not everyone can join or has the time to watch a 1 hour long video. So this is the bite-sized version where you get the stories, my commentary, and some community comments. Just like in all my other videos, but without all the additional things that happen on the live stream. If you'd like to see the full live stream, then you can always check it out here in this card, or there's a link in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm very much open to your input and feedback. And one more thing before we get started, don't forget you can watch my live streams on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And you can always follow me on Twitter and also join our Discord server, where the community just keeps growing and it's fantastic. But that's enough intro for now, so now let's get started with the stories. This one's from user throwArray J0509355. My 24 female boyfriend, 26 male, has a long-time female friend who's clearly into him, and I don't know what I should do. This is gonna sound like typical insecure girlfriend, but I promise it's not like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 6 months, and he's really great. He has a friend that he's had for years who is a girl. Normally, I'm not the type to be like, you're not allowed to hang out with a single girl alone. But I'm considering telling my boyfriend that he's not allowed to hang out with his girl alone. This girl is obviously so into him, and she definitely wants me to know she's coming for him. She keeps saying stuff like, "You don't know him like I do yet. We used to go to the place together all the time long before you guys started dating. Oh my god, Josh, remember when we went on a hike, just the two of us? That was the best day." She also had cute pet names for him, but I didn't like that ass, and so as soon as I heard it, I told my boyfriend I didn't like it, and he made her stop. I asked her straight up if she's into him, and her response pissed me off so much. She was like, "I know it's intimidating how close he and I are, but don't worry. You're the girlfriend and I'm just a friend, right?" With a smug smile on her face. I got so mad I couldn't talk to my boyfriend about it. I want to tell him to cut her out of his life. So bad, but I don't know if I can do that. My boyfriend's dad passed away 2 years ago with a heart condition. He told me that his dad was his best friend growing up, so it hit him really hard. He was the only family my boyfriend had. Apparently, this girl really helped him get through it. She apparently was there for him throughout the whole thing. That's why he says she's like a sister to him. That's why I don't know what to do. I already asked him to set some boundaries, like she can't text late at night or come over to his place unannounced all the time, and no interrupting our alone time. My boyfriend doesn't realize that she's into him, and I kinda don't blame him on that one because all of her flirts are subtle enough that he doesn't realize, but enough to get me riled up. I know my boyfriend isn't into her at all, and he's completely friend-zoned her, but it's still so frustrating, I hate to admit it, but she's so good at getting under my skin, and I don't know what to do. I really need some advice. Thanks, Reddit. OP, I think you need to talk to your boyfriend and be honest about your feelings. It's very important that he understands how you feel. Help him see your perspective. This is very different from demanding him to stop seeing his friend. That's what would make you controlling. We've learned reading so many stories that communication and helping the other see your point of view really contributes to a healthy relationship. The thing is, he might really not see her as a potential partner, and that's why she's in the friend zone. So if you go in guns blazing, telling him he can't see her anymore or hang out with her, then he probably will feel backed into a wall and get upset. But if he's able to understand how you feel, then he gets to decide how to face the situation. In any case, whatever he does, this will tell you what kind of relationship you're in. And well, that's how I see this whole thing. What about you guys? What advice would you give OP? Now, at this point in the stream is where I ask everybody who's online to tell me what they think and their opinion. I have taken it out of this video in order to save you guys some time. So if you are interested in seeing what the other people from our community wrote, then you can always go check it out at the live stream. How about we move on to the community comments and see what kind of advice they gave OP. Cherry Wand says, maybe you could have a talk with him about how she's acting and tell him that you don't want to break up their friendship, but that you would feel really loved if he would make it extra clear that he prefers you. Maybe also explain that you don't like to be alone with her because she seems to want to feel weird, and ask for his help with that. However, I recommend that you don't dictate exactly how he acts, but rather bring it up and then sit back for a few weeks and see how he handles it. Give him time to observe the situation with new eyes. I think treating him with trust will be better for your relationship since he hasn't done anything to make you question his loyalty. Alright, that's some fair piece of advice. Now let's move on with the next comment, and this one is from user Destroyer of Annoyance. I need to learn to read. I specifically want to address this absolute third tier worthless advice I keep seeing in the comments. If she's at a social event, just don't go. No, what the F is that? You shouldn't be forced into feeling so uncomfortable to the point where your contact with your boyfriend and his normal behaving friends is limited because she's an a-hole. That's solid there. Everyone who honestly puts their whole heart into a relationship deserves at the minimum to go out in public with their significant other and not feel lowly and bad about themselves over it. Seriously, people in the comments saying this, get your self-esteem up. OP, you have got to tell him everything she's done. As awkward as it feels saying it, you need to just spit it out. You're going to come off as the bad guy if you keep pushing the boundaries without the explanation. The stress this has to be causing when you see this be, and the weight it must have on your chest, you're going to feel so relieved to just say it, at least. And finally, this one's from Throwaway LMAO K. Okay then. My boyfriend has a female friend he's known way longer than he's known me. And he also says he considers her a sister. The big difference though is that she doesn't call him pet names, bring up how much more she knows about him, and doesn't try to undermine our relationship. Boys can be clueless sometimes, and it seems like you need to trust your gut here. Don't look at it as, I'm not allowing you to talk to her, just tell him your feelings and how you don't think she respects your relationship, and let him decide how to proceed. My thoughts exactly. If he changes nothing and lets her keep doing stuff like that, then that's very telling. And there you go. That's what the community has to say. So how about we move on to the update? After reading the comments, I decided to just bring it up with him without telling him what I want him to do to avoid sounding controlling. I sat him down and told him that some of the stuff that she says really makes me uncomfortable. I told him that I feel like she's undermining our relationship. I gave him a few examples of the stuff she said and done that I didn't appreciate. He still doesn't think she's into him. He's convinced that she's acting this way because she probably feels like they're drifting apart as friends because he's in a serious relationship now. Which frustrated me a little bit, to be honest, because it's clear to me that she wants him, but being subtle about it. He said that regardless of her actions, if her actions are making me uncomfortable, he'll have a talk with her about it. I was really happy he said that because I was really nervous and anxious to see how he'll react. I was afraid he'll take her side. He can be a dummy sometimes, so I was worried that he'd bring it up with her in the wrong way, like saying, my girlfriend doesn't want us talking anymore, and stuff like that. But he nailed it. He told her in a text, dude, I noticed some of the stuff you've been saying in front of my girlfriend lately, and I've been wanting to talk to you about it. It's mad, disrespectful, and uncomfortable. We're cool, but just stop that crap. Naturally, she acted all innocent and confused. She was like, what? You know I'd never do anything that would upset you. I think you're misunderstanding, and stuff like that. He doubled down on it though. I could tell he felt somewhat guilty telling her off like that, and I don't know if he's convinced that she's trying to undermine our relationship or not. But I am so glad that he had my back in this. I'm honestly kind of glad this whole thing happened. It gave me a better idea of what kind of man he really is. He even said he'll stop hanging out with her alone if it makes me feel uncomfortable. He was also, low-key, mad at me for waiting this long to tell him I was uncomfortable around her. Safe to say that the best possible outcome happened. He really put her in her place, and not gonna lie, it made me feel real good. All I could think of was, I won! LMAO. Thanks to everyone for encouraging me to tell him, because even though I knew that's what I should have done, I was still scared to do it for some reason. I even thought about potentially just avoiding her for good, which sounds ridiculous now that I think about it, because I shouldn't have to hide from her. I guess I'm just not good at confrontations. Thanks for the help and advice, everyone. And there you go. Alright, let's continue with Am I the A-hole? This one is from user 300index. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go to the same college as my stepsister? I'm 17 female, a senior in high school and making my college decision soon. I got into some really great schools for my major and I'm really excited for college. My parents divorced when I was 7 and I was living with my mom until she died when I was 14. I have been living with my dad and his wife for the past 3 years. My dad remarried Lisa when I was 9 and she has a daughter, Jan, 17 female, my age. My mom's family has been saving for me to go to college. My maternal grandparents have a 529 for me that they and my mom had been contributing to since I was a baby. It has upwards of 110,000 right now. Jan has really bad social anxiety and kinda clung to me when I started living with my dad. I guess because Jan didn't really have many friends before I came along, Lisa has taken to pushing me to spend a lot of time with her. This has only worsened during the pandemic, plus the fact that I don't really see her as a sister or friend, more like a housemate. We didn't interact much when I was living with my mom because my dad would always take me out when I visited him. College decisions and financial aid have all come in, and I got into my first choice school with enough aid that I can graduate debt-free with my mom's family's support. I absolutely love this school and its culture, and I really clicked with it when I visited. Jan, however, only feels comfortable going to the state school, which is great for her major that I also got into. Since finding out that I also got into state, Jan and Lisa have started talking about the future as if we're going to go to school together and live together at school. When I told them that I got into and plan on going to the first choice, they exploded. Lisa said that I was abandoning Jan, and Jan has started crying a lot about not knowing anyone in college. Lisa said that if I don't go to state with Jan, she and my dad would cut off financial support for college. I told her that my grandparents are paying. I got angry and said that if she cuts me off, I can write a kick-ass essay about her cutting me off for more outside scholarships. Last weekend, I went over to my grandparents' house, told them about getting into the first choice, accepted the admission, and we ate ice cream. I went and told my dad's family over dinner, and now Lisa has become extremely passive-aggressive about me not supporting family, and Jan just cries and pleads me to change my mind. My dad says that I should take back my commitment and lose $750 and commit to state to keep the peace at home. I might be the a-hole because I know Jan will have a hard time adjusting to college without any familiarity, and that me being there would help her, but I flat out refused without really talking to them about it. I also don't want to be around Jan forever. You're not the a-hole. Your dad, your stepmom, and yes, your stepsister are all being a-holes in my opinion, although in different degrees. So let me go from the least to the most. First, your stepsister. She's the a-hole here in my opinion because I think she's being selfish. I understand that having social anxiety is not easy and having you with her could help her time in college. But it's not right that she's trying to guilt you into changing your future just so she doesn't feel alone. In my opinion, she should try to work on her own insecurities to deal with her anxiety. It won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. Your dad, he's just trying to get you to change to keep the peace in the house, which means get his wife off his back and his stepdaughter to stop crying. He should be looking out for you too. And on this, he's failing miserably. He's being selfish too. And finally, your stepmom. To me, the biggest a-hole of all. She thought she could force you into being your stepsister's emotional support person by threatening to not pay for your education. Where does she get off? I mean, like, really? I could go on a long rant about how she sucks, but I'm pretty sure I'll be preaching to the choir. Now, on a side note, I don't think that mom is doing a very good job at helping out her daughter because of her social anxiety. She should be trying to help her to work on it. Find tools, maybe therapy. But, I mean, what kind of life would this girl have after OP's gone and the parents are gone as well? I mean, if OP decides to move across the country or move outside of the country, what's Jan going to do? I don't think it's fair to OP. How about we move on to the community comments to see what the community has to say about this? What for Not says, not the a-hole. You're not Jan's parent. She is not your responsibility. You are responsible for your own future, and you have done a great job getting yourself on the right track. Your stepmother was awful to try and make you responsible for her daughter and to try to mistakenly hold money and your education over your head to try and make you bend to her will. I wish I could have seen her face when you told her that she had no power there. That would have been amazing, right? Your father has failed you as a parent. He should not be making you forfeit your future and freedom to keep the peace. I absolutely agree with that. He should be standing up to his wife for the benefits of his daughter. Also, it is laughable to me that none of these people apparently had any idea of how your college finances were actually going to work. I'm glad your grandparents and mother, I'm so sorry for your loss, at least were looking out for you. Get out of that house as soon as you can and never look back. Good luck in college. And OP replies, Lisa and Dad didn't know about the money because all the financial aid applications only asked for parent assets. So they thought they would be financing college for me. Lisa's face turned a little purple when she found out she wouldn't be. Nice. Then we've got Purple Mars Alien, and she says, not the a-hole. Oh, sorry. It's your future, and it's a choice you appear to have both the financial support for and the actual support from your grandparents. When you turn 18, you're an adult and responsible for yourself. My suggestion would be to talk to your grandparents about the possibility of you living with them on school breaks. Also, whether in your later years at college, they'd help you get your own apartment rather than living in the dorms. Alright? And finally, we have La Rochelle de Ville, or La Rochelleville, that says, not the a-hole. Don't light yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Go to the best school you can afford. Alright, so how about we move on to the next one. And on this particular post, I'm not going to give you guys my opinion because I'm going to hand it over to you right away. So let me read it. And there we go. And you guys get to tell me what you think about this one. This one's from user Gerztizzle. I, 25 female, don't think I'm in love with my husband, 27 male, of 5 months. My husband and I have been together for 4 years and recently had a small wedding in November. Buckle up, kids, I think I wrote too much. Our relationship has always been less than desirable. We bicker a lot, like every couple. But our relationship has always entirely been about needing his space because he's an introvert. He hates leaving the house. He gets mad when I have friends over, but relationships are about give and take. I ask him to take walks with me, or go for a drink at a bar, or just getting ice cream and cruising, but he always refuses. He's worked weird, long hours for the entirety of our relationship. We also lived in cities about 90 miles from each other, so he always choked up all of the bickering, the lack of sex, the emotional distance, up to his weird work hours and him being tired. He painted this picture that our relationship would magically be fixed if I sold my house and moved to his city. I was extremely hesitant. I was so proud of my house and the roots I was putting down at the time, but I did it anyway. He pressured me to buy a house with him in the new city, and I stupidly did it. All this to say, nothing about our relationship improved after the move. Everything stayed the same. We got engaged because I knew I had nowhere else to go and I thought I was in love. We are now 5 months into our marriage and I don't love him. I have love for him as a companion, but I tell him constantly that we're more roommates than a couple. He doesn't understand. He thinks our relationship is great. I don't understand how I can make him understand. I literally asked him for a divorce last week, which really upset him, but he still hasn't done anything to show me that he'll make an effort. I have no romantic feelings for him. I gave up so much so he could keep the job that he wanted. I've begun to realize that our entire relationship has been about what he wanted and very little about what I need. I am not in love with him. I think constantly about how I can leave and planning it. Do I stay and just suck it up? Is it possible that the relationship problems are literally all on my end? I have severe anxiety, so maybe I just need to readjust my meds. Or do I just cut and go out? Marriage counseling is completely off the table because he refuses to go and acknowledge our marriage has any problems. So, on this one, I'm going to turn to you. And I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? What advice would you give OP? So, let me know in the comment section because the community did during the live stream, and it's that time where we reached the end of the video. Now, I admit this wasn't the perfect edit, but I keep working on them every day to make them as cool as possible for all of you. So, if you have any input or feedback, you liked it or not, please let me know. It really helps me out to improve these things so that you guys can get to enjoy them even better. So on that note, if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you didn't, well, you can give it a thumbs down. Don't forget to join the community and our Discord server, which just grows and it's filled with so many awesome people. There's a link in the description along with all my other social media links where you can follow me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the platforms. And finally, I'd like to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you also to those who get to join me on the live stream and watch the whole thing too. It really means so much to me that you guys are enjoying this content so much, these videos and the live streams. It's an awesome feeling just knowing that you guys appreciate this. So thank you all very much, and having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.